Harris, host of the Veronica Harris Show, and I'm here with
Gregory Harris, co-author, co-host.
co-author. What have you written recently?
Nothing. You wrote it and I wrote my name under it.
Okay, well, I have my co-host and co-author Gregory Harris here, and we have a great guest here today, and we're going to be talking about coaching, and we're going to talk about tennis, and the guest that we have today is Mr. James Bennett. He is currently a tennis coach at Bishop McNamara
Correct.
High School.
Correct.
And why don't you tell us about yourself? Give us a little bit of background, and then we're going to ask some questions of you.
Okay, I'd like to set the stage. First of all, I'm a Washingtonian,
Yes.
born and raised here, and I grew up on what is now Capitol Hill, 4th and F Streets, and I went to Holy Name Elementary School, and from there I went to St. Anthony's. But let me rewind a little bit. You talk about sports and athletics, okay? And the person that comes to mind first is my dad, because I remember as a child, I lived across the street from Stewart Hobson Middle School. You might know where that is. And he made this ball out of black electric tape. And that's the first exposure I had with catching and throwing and, you know, hand-eye coordination, as you had mentioned some time ago. And from there, from Holy Name, I went over to Brookland, which is where I live now, and I went to St. Anthony's grade school. And in the 5th grade, I got my first exposure to organized sports, and that was basketball. And my dad wasn't too happy about that.
No, why?
Oh, well, because my father had played baseball as a kid, Lexington Park, St. Mary's County, and he thought that was the route to take. And I played for a while at St. Anthony's. I did fairly well with it, but basketball just simply took over.
That was your thing.
That was my thing. So I played that elementary school as well as high school. I played at McKinley High School back in the 60s. You know, played football, all the big three. But tennis came to me as an undergrad at what was then DC Teachers College. And I've been addicted ever since.
Now, you said DC, it was then DC's Teachers College. What is it called now?
It's the University of District of Columbia.
Oh, okay, it became UDC. I did not know that. Did you know that?
Yeah.
You got your
I went to
master's.
UDC.
You got your
went to
master's
UDC,
there.
Yeah. So back then it was DC Teachers College.
Okay,
Right.
learn something new every day. You got your master's there. You should. No words for you right now.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So you know, you talk about sports in general, and I think every kid, every human ought to play something, you know, or be on a sports team of some description, because, you know, it may sound cliche-ish, but it makes you, I think it makes you a better human. So team sports, individual sports, tennis, it all works out. Love it.
Now, you say you went to DC Teachers College
Right.
at the time, and you got your degree in.
Physical education.
Oh, we are all phys ed teachers.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
health and phys ed.
Right.
I'm health and physical education.
Right.
Business.
No.
Anyway.
Business is good.
Yeah, but he's a phys ed teacher now.
Okay.
But anyway, so, and you became a physical education teacher.
Right.
Yes. Now, did you teach, or did
I
you?
did.
you do
And as a
something
matter
else?
of fact, my first assignment was at Bertie Backus Junior High School.
I went there for a little bit. I think it was preschool.
Yeah, and from that point I went away to Kent State for a couple of years, came back, and then finally wound up at Duke Ellington School of the Arts, where I didn't teach art, I taught science.
You taught science.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, they say physical education teachers, we can do everything.
Well, yeah, okay. But my journey with tennis was interesting, to say the least. And I'll tell you a story.
Yes.
You know, when you're young and you're scrappy and you're big and you think you're invincible, right? You just play the big three. So I had been playing basketball, like I said, for a long time. And I had gotten older. We all will do that at some point, trust me. And I went over to a boys club, 17th Street, Pennsylvania Avenue, I can't exactly recall now. So we're playing basketball, older guys, and I'll use that term. And I was on the team, and apparently I had missed an assignment, you know, checking, and the guy pushed me. to the
Your own teammate?
my own teammate.
Wow.
And he pushed me to where I was supposed to be. I said, okay, this is kind of interesting. So I said, well, let's see how it goes. And then sometime later on, a fight broke out with these adult men. So I said, I'm gone. And I've been addicted to tennis ever since.
So the team sports weren't for you, were more for the individual.
Well, I mean, I played team tennis, but it wasn't like basketball at that point. So yeah.
And a lot of people, because I still play, I'm over the hill, but I'm still hanging in there. And you come across some games, and then you like, well, I'd rather not play than deal with some of the shenanigans that's going on out here. Arguing, grown people. It's a game.
It's a game.
Arguing and you sometimes fighting.
Sure.
And
Grown people.
Some people taking it too serious. Some people ain't taking it serious enough.
Yeah.
So I understand why he decided to walk away from it.
Yeah, because as you just said, Gregory, it's just a game, and you have to go to work the next morning. You got other responsibilities. So, for me, it came to the point where I would rather do something just a little safer, and tennis is what has been safe for me. And I had a chance to coach it up at Duke Ellington. Like I said, I've been playing now, it seems like forever. But right now I'm at McNamara High School.
Okay.
And that's a very, very pleasant experience, to say the least, because the kids over there are absolutely and positively fantastic. Cooperative, smart, funny, everything you might want in a high school kid.
Oh, excellent, excellent. So how did you actually come from Duke Ellington to get to Bishop McNamara?
Oh, it's interesting, and that's an interesting journey. Okay, so I was at Ellington, and I retired a couple years ago. So I have a good friend of mine, Ron Jackson, who I've known ever since we were children, who used to be the coach at McNamara. So he moved to Atlanta, and by the way, he's a USTA umpire in tennis. So he said, man, I got a job for you, man. It's perfect for you, man. I said, okay, what is it? You can coach at McNamara. I said, what? Because he'd been there like for years, and he had established himself, I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. So the first time out, was kind of had to feel my way, so to speak, because I had a girls team, and I never coached a girls team. But it worked out.
Okay.
So I retired from Ellington. Ron Jackson recommended me for the position at McNamara, and the rest is history. And I'm there now.
All right.
And I'm having some fun.
So how many years total have you been there thus far?
Oh, this is my first year, because I just started in September.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's your first year.
Right. So I just started in September.
Wow, that must be exciting.
It is. It really is. And like I'm saying, so far so good. I've got good kids. Some are better than others, of course. So, but I've got a good group.
Now I teach in New Jersey, so the tennis season for females is in the fall.
Exactly.
And it's the same down here?
Same thing.
Same down here.
So right now it's the boys' season.
Right.
And we're having some successes. Yeah.
Now, do you help with the boys at all? Do you coach them too?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Okay, so you're the head coach for the boys and the girls?
And the girls, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So this is your first year for the boys
First
and
year
the
for
girls.
the girls, that's right.
So what is your record thus far?
I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
No, but seriously, in terms of the boys, we are much better now than we were when we began. And that's satisfactory for me.
It's not about
because what you want to see is just improvement over time.
Correct.
And I've seen these boys have really, really made some improvements. So yeah, our record is getting better. And as I told the guys just the other week, we're better now than what we were 3 weeks ago. And that's all I need, man. Yeah.
Now, so if it's like the boys or the seasons that we have up in Jersey, so you really just we start our spring season in March.
That's when we started ours, in
Okay,
March.
you start out, and you go all the way to?
May.
Okay, all the way to May. Now, you have, what kind of championships or whatever do you have in high school?
Well, we have a tournament, and that's a 3-day tournament, and it's a single elimination. and you have seated players and all that stuff. So that's over a 3-day period, and the best man wins.
Okay.
Best man wins.
Now, do you have any upperclassmen? Do you have any seniors,
We
juniors?
we have freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, and we have one kid. We have two guys who are really quite remarkable. One guy is named Reggie Wilson, and I'll tell you a story about him. I was hitting with him, just hitting around on the court, and the ball was whizzing by. Boy, it's tough. So I had gone to the net, talking about net play, to
Right.
try and volley. So I'm at the net, and he hits the ball by me, and I'm still looking at where's the ball. So gone, out gone. So he's a sophomore, and he's really, really good. And then there's another guy, Philip Smith. He's about your height, Greg, and he can hit the ball a ton, man. So I've got two kids who are really, really good players. But I've got youngsters who are learning the game, and again, they're much better now
Than they were before.
than what they were, a month and a half ago. And when you have that kind of success, you want to keep doing it.
Of course.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Any other questions, Gregory? Something you want to throw in there?
I had something slipped my mind though.
Yeah, the mind is a terrible thing. I just switch cheese. Okay.
Well, I've been playing tennis, like I said, for a while, and it's a game that's always a challenge, as most sporting activities are, because you always want to do better and improve and see how good you can really get. And it's always something to learn. And the fun part about it for me, for tennis, is that it's always changing. I mean, the way you may play today might be different than how you'll play tomorrow.
And that's based on?
That's based on today and based on yesterday. I mean, sometimes you go on the court and you're just on top of it. Other days you might as well have stayed home and stayed in bed because things just don't work out right. And you play people of your caliber, people better than you, people not as good as you. So you're always getting a different look when you're on that tennis court. And for me, that's the addiction, because you don't know what you're going to get until you get there. And I'm addicted.
I remember now.
Yeah, somebody says tennis, I say, yeah, man, win. So it's a sport that you can play for a lifetime. Not like football, not like basketball, but you can do tennis until.
I remember now.
Uh-oh.
Can I go?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Now, you were talking about the black electric tape ball.
Yeah, yeah.
When you got the ball, did you shoot it? Did you kick it?
No,
did you hit it with a stick?
We just threw it around.
Just play catch with
hand-eye
it.
coordination, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all that was, man. And I have to thank my dad because, he played baseball, as a younger man. And, he got me on this road to athletics, so to speak.
Same thing. My father was a baseball player, and they didn't think basketball was the route to go.
My father didn't know about basketball.
Yeah, I mean, they thought basketball was, sorry to say, the girly sport. Baseball was for all the guys.
That's right. That's right.
For the guys. And he got me a soccer ball. And I took the soccer ball and I started throwing it up against the house, shooting it.
Right.
And
That's
then,
not what you're supposed to do.
and then I got to the basketball. But, when you was telling your story, I was like, man, me and James got the same beginnings.
Yeah, and
Playing
Greg.
with a ball that wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, man. And it's interesting because I grew up in this area, and Turkey Thicket is right down the street. And Turkey Thicket at that time was the place to be to shoot jump shots, to play ball. I mean, that was the place to be. And there were these clay tennis courts off on the side. And no clue, man. So, people would say, they must be sissies or something playing tennis. I thought tennis was a game for other people. Put it that way.
Unathletic folk.
Well, I'm not going to say unathletic.
I mean, because the athletes were doing the running and the jumping.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say unathletic, but I would say it was a game for other people. You get my drift. All right? So
go ahead and tell me what you mean. Go ahead.
It wasn't for African Americans
Oh,
as I saw it. You know what I mean? Because we had baseball, basketball, football, because that's what you saw.
Yeah. Okay.
And I just really wish I had learned the game much, much earlier because it had made a difference. And kids in the area now start off 8, 7, and by the time they get to my age, they can really, in high school too, they can really play the game. So I just, it's not a regret. It's just I wish I had learned the game earlier.
Okay. Well, on that note, I think we're going to stop right here and we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk more about coaching because we're all coaches and we love the fundamentals. So, and I always wanted to know what kind of, because you can't coach on, like when people are playing tennis, like with Serena, her coaches, they're in the coach's box and she can't have any like real contact with them. Like I know she has her notes and everything, but she can't really talk to them.
Well, I've been watching the Miami Open.
Yeah, that's on right now.
That's on right now, and there have been some coaching moments when the coaches come down and talk to some of the players.
Oh, okay. Well, I know the Grand Slams, you know, they have the coaches box.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that happen.
Oh, okay.
But even with coaching the kids, you're able to coach during the odd game changeover.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it's not like with basketball. There's so much.
Right. So.
Right. Almost like a micromanaging type of deal.
That kind of interaction, no.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna take a break and we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna find out what is the strategy in coaching because I know there's a lot. Strategies. I know there's a lot. All right. So we'll be right back.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness. I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
We're back, and now we're going to start talking about coaching, the different strategies. Because I've coached basketball and I've, coached track. Those are the things that I was mostly into. Right. And for me, it was stalking the sidelines, giving the play, telling them exactly what I wanted to do. Track, not so much because you give them the instructions and there's more coaching during practice. But once I say, okay, this is what you got to do, you got to run your race this way, I send them on, and that's it. And then I don't see them anymore until they're done.
Right.
What is coaching like for tennis?
It's different. And as I mentioned, when you're playing a match, and we play an 8-game pro set, which means you play 8 games, and it's add scoring, if you know what I mean.
Right, I know.
Okay, excellent. Okay. So the kids are on the court, and they're playing 8-game pro set. So you're able to coach, or to use your term, use strategies every first, third, fifth, seventh game because you have a chance to talk to them.
Right. That's
and it's kind of coaching, but for me, it's more like motivation and telling the kids you're good at what you do. Just hit like you do in practice. Figure out what your opponent is doing and see if you can work a way around to take his strength away from him. You can tell the kids you're not hitting too well from the baseline. You need to go to the net more. Okay. Need to be a little more aggressive and have some fun. So it's like motivation as opposed to coaching in the strictest sense of the word. Because when they're on the court, you can't really tell them, how to hit a backhand or how to hit a topspin because they should know that. Right. But just be able to use those skills so they can be more successful during the competition. And that's how I work it like that. And sometimes I don't say much to them because that can be destructive if you say too much because it may shake their confidence level. But I do clap when they do stuff good. I'm screaming sometimes, man. And I had to learn not to do that because when I first started with the girls, yeah, good shot. Oh, they said, Bennett, come on, man. You know. So I had to learn to kind of cool it out a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the coaches, because at football, sometimes you see them on the sideline. And I know basketball, you can see all the different. Because I know myself, I was very demonstrative on the sidelines and that. But for tennis, you're expected to be a little bit more subdued. Subdued
state. And you're right, Veronica, because I brought that basketball football thing to the tennis court. I should have left it on the basketball football field. But I was excited to see the girls play well and the boys as well. Yeah. So it was more like encouragement as opposed to actual coaching.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now we're big on fundamentals. Fundamentals is big, and I say
Right.
anything you gotta have. I don't care what you do.
Right.
It's like, I talk about building a house. I said a house cannot be built on a bad foundation.
It'll fall.
Right. So therefore, you must have good fundamentals. So let's talk about some of the fundamentals that you have to teach. That are something like transcendent. Like I always talk about footwork. We talk about
Oh, yeah,
footwork.
definitely,
In
definitely.
basketball, football. I know you're big on footwork. We have footwork that we talk about with our drills.
Sure.
What are some of the fundamentals that you preach
Well,
and talk about?
all of that. I mean, even the kids that can play have to work on fundamentals because the fundamentals will take you. If your fundamentals are lousy, you won't be as successful as you possibly could be. So we work on footwork. We work on movement. We work on hand-eye coordination. We work on how to hit a forehand properly, a backhand properly, how to volley properly. And with most sports, it's repetition, repetition, and repetition. So you get to the point where the kids don't have to think about it, and you just react. I mean, I do the same thing. I hit a shot and say, "Wow, I did that." And it's just a reaction.
Muscle memory.
Because muscle memory, right? Because you do it so often, it just you just simply react, and that's what I love to see. With the players, they just react. They're not thinking. Well, they are, but not in the sense of,
They're not like
I'm going to hit the ball down the line. No, it just
subconsciously.
Just make it happen. Yeah. So to get better at almost anything, you have to get the fundamentals straight, and it's repetition, repetition, and more repetition, and then again, it just simply becomes second nature to you.
Now, before the fundamentals, before you get to the fundamentals,
right?
How do you condition a tennis athlete?
I knew you were going to ask that. I knew you were going to ask that.
Good question.
No, but you run, you sprint, you run, you sprint some more.
So you put mileage in there? You put the mileage, the distance?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And the other day, I introduced something that I was introduced to when I played football for DC Teachers College, running up hills.
We do a lot of hills.
Yeah,
Sprinters, we do a lot of hills.
Yeah, right. And I had the boys running up hills, man. I said 5 times up the hill, 5 times back. And you can tell the difference when they're on the court because they're a little quicker. Because initially, and I still do this, initially I was having them, take a lap around the court, run 5 or 6 laps with that, which was okay. But if you do up the hill, that's more resistance training. So it makes it's hard to run up a hill.
Oh, yeah.
But if you can do a hill 5 or 6 times, you can surely run across a tennis court because it's flat land. So, but run some more, man. I mean, how else can you get in condition? I mean, for cardiovascular fitness.
I mean, it's amazing because you watch like baseball, for instance.
Right.
Baseball does a lot of running. I'm like, well, y'all don't never see y'all run to the base once. Then you go sit down.
Right.
Tennis is just that small area. So I was thinking maybe you just did, I don't know, something different. But I guess every sport they gonna run you.
Yeah, right.
Gonna
And just to take this a step further, you run in practice how you're going to run in a game, right? So they sprint here, they sprint here, they sprint there, they sprint to the net, they sprint back. But we still have that endurance training too, which complements the sprinting. But run, oh yeah, we run.
Do a lot of running.
Yeah, and it just makes them better.
Yeah, that's a lot of times when I'm watching a lot of the Grand Slams or some of the other tournaments that are on TV, they always talk about, I know John McEnroe, he's always talking about how fit a person is, the fitness. And no, but it's very important. The fitness is so important.
Oh my God,
and he always talks about when a person gets fitter. He said, oh, he's fitter. And he's better. I was like, he's fitter and I'm more fit.
More fit, that's the right
But
answer.
he says fitter.
Right.
But we know it's more fit.
Yeah.
But he talks about that, and just the fitness, it is important.
Oh.
And I bring it back to us, track runners, how we constantly would have to run, the cardiovascular that we would have to do, and that, our sprinting that we would have to do, our distance that we would have to do, our drill work that we would have to do.
Sure.
It was just so important. And a lot of the tennis players would talk about how they would increase not just their running, but just also their, time actually on the track.
Right.
Doing drills and things of that nature.
Yeah. And I was watching a documentary on Martina Navratilova, and
she was awesome.
But she was one of the first ones that did weight training.
Yes.
And that makes a huge.
And you can see it with her.
Oh, you can see it with her, right?
Yeah, you can
right.
see it with her.
That's a huge, and I don't have the boys doing weight training as such, but we may do push-ups or that sort of thing. But weight training makes a huge difference too, because it simply makes you stronger.
Right.
So when you talk about muscle memory and cardiovascular fitness and endurance, you know, all those things come into play to make you a better athlete. So
I would say one of the you always talk about who are the best athletes in the world. And I always laugh when they say with the football, oh, these are some of the best athletes in the world. I'm like, half of you couldn't even get through a track practice, because I've seen, you know, they can't.
Yeah.
But I think that tennis players are truly one of the, you know, best athletes in the world, because I mean, the amount of time that some of them was like a 5-set match of a guy, and those 3-set matches, and a game can last, you know, a half an hour if they really wanted to. I mean, it's tremendous. But
do you come across this though, Mr. Bennett?
Yes, Gregory.
In the basketball and football, you come across those good athletes don't want to practice. You come across those athletes that think they're better than they are.
Right.
Now, tennis is a little different. You ever run across an athlete that, you know, you had, like, come on, man, you got to practice. And, you know, they just want to play the matches.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen in tennis.
It's not going to happen. Not going to happen.
tennis will expose you.
Oh, yeah, because it's not going to happen. Let me just be clear with that.
Okay.
If you don't, if your skill levels aren't where I think they ought to be, not going to happen. You've got to be at a certain place so you won't embarrass yourself, right? So no, you are going to practice and you are going to get better if you're on my team. And that's what's been happening. I mean, Greg, it's amazing. I was out with some kids just this week, and it was a guy who, you know, he played like a crab. All, you know, it was just coordination was all screwed up. But he started hitting forehand top spins, and he gave me a problem. And I said, I'll be doggone. This is the same guy that last week couldn't do this. So those kind of successes, you know, it just makes you want to keep doing it. Awesome. And it makes the kids want to keep doing it, because once they have a success, they want to keep doing it.
Now, you said one more thing.
You know what? That's very good. But we're going to have to slow you down right now. Game, set, match. And now we got to the point of what's Veronica thinking.
Okay.
And today, Veronica is thinking, well, what are you thinking about, Greg? I'm going to give you this one since we had to cut you off. What are you thinking about?
Go ahead, man.
Well, what's Veronica thinking? We're thinking that you're going to have to practice, because talent is only going to take you so far. And this is with anything that you do in life, whether it's sports, whether it's music, whether it's chemistry, you're a mechanic, you know, you are a chemical engineer, you have to practice your craft. You are going to work at it. Or else, as Mr. Bennett said, you don't want to embarrass yourself.
Right.
Because life has a way of exposing you. It has a way of exposing if you don't put in the work. So remember, practice, practice, practice. Remember, not just practice makes perfect, it's perfect practice.
Right.
Makes perfect.
Yeah,
right.
because you can practice something wrong and get worse, man. Yeah.
So that's good. So we're going to end it on Mr. Bennett's note that we want to practice, but we want to make sure we do perfect practice.